Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 63rd Readiness Division Change of Command Ceremony. Throughout the ceremony, you will be given cues to stand and be seated at the appropriate times. As a reminder, during the playing of the national anthem, military members will salute, and our civilian guests should place their right hands over their hearts. Presiding over today's ceremony is Lieutenant General Robert D. Harder, Commanding General, United States Army Reserve Command. Today's ceremony will recognize the change of command between Major General Tracy L. Smith and Major General Windsor Shane Buzza. We would like to extend a special welcome to our distinguished guests who joined us for this special occasion. For Major General Smith's family, we have with us today her husband, Mr. Scott Smith, her brother, Commander, U.S. Navy retired, Tony Artero, her brother, Colonel, U.S. Army retired, Matthew Artero, and his wife, Susan, and her brother, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Air Force retired, Audie Artero. Not present with Major General Smith today, but with her in spirit are her father, Command Sergeant Major, U.S. Army retired, Franklin Artero, and his wife, Margie Artero, her sister, Elizabeth Artero Guerrero, and Elizabeth's husband, Dan Guerrero, Nani Artero, wife of Tony, and Jennifer Artero, wife of Audie. From Major General Buzz's family, we have with us today his girlfriend, Dr. Rachel Schultz, his mother, Mrs. Shirley Spain, his stepfather, Jim Spain, his father and stepmother, Mr. Duke Buzza and Mrs. Judy Buzza via Facebook. Though unable to be here in person, their steadfast support, guidance, and encouragement have been instrumental throughout Major General Buzz's journey. His sister, Stephanie Izzarelli, and Stephanie's husband, Ethan Izzarelli. His niece, Sophia Izzarelli. His son, Jacob Buzza. His cousin, Warren Snyder, and guest, Jennifer Boyd. His cousin, David Buzza. His uncle and aunt, Mr. and Mrs. Donald and Susan Snyder. And his family friend, Mr. John Dunn, retired Navy. We're incredibly honored to have with us today District Director Rania Mohsen, representing the Honorable Sam Liccardo, United States Congressman for California District 16. Congressional Aide Jordan Montgomery for the Honorable Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren for California District 18, where Fort Hunter Liggett is located. The Honorable Ellen Kamei, Mayor of Mountain View. The Honorable Carmen Montano, Mayor of Milpitas, and Councilmember William Lamb. The Honorable Larry Klein, Mayor of Sunnyvale. The Honorable Yan Zhao, Mayor of Saratoga. Mr. Otto Lee, Santa Clara County Supervisor, District 3. Mr. Richard Fletcher and Mrs. Marianne Fletcher, Gold Star family for Specialist Aaron Balajo. Thank you to all general officers, senior executive service members, and leaders from across the military who have joined us today. We also extend our gratitude to the senior leaders from organizations that support our soldiers and families, as well as mentors, friends, and everyone joining us. Thank you for honoring us with your presence. The music for today's ceremony is performed by the 63rd Readiness Division's own 191st Army Band under the direction of Warrant Officer Nicholas Boland and Drum Major Sergeant First Class Samuel Yu. The salute battery is from 1st Battalion, 82nd Field Artillery Regiment, 1st Cavalry Division Artillery, Fort Hood, Texas, and is commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Grady Stebbins. The Color Guard NCOIC is Master Sergeant Angelo Hill and is commanded by Command Sergeant Major Eric Bethurum, 63rd Readiness Division Command Sergeant Major. The 63rd Infantry Division was activated in June 1943 at Camp Blanding, Florida. Its regiments deployed to Europe in late 1944 helped defeat Germany's final offensives in the Alsace region, breached the Siegfried Line, and conquered numerous German towns, liberating the prisoners of Kaufering concentration subcamp before a short period of occupation duty. Deactivated in September 1945, the division was reactivated in 1952 as part of the Organized Reserves in Los Angeles, and later in an activation as a combat division in 1965. Its memory was carried on through the 63rd Reinforcement Training Unit and into the 63rd Army Reserve Command providing oversight for reserve training and readiness across Southern California, Nevada, and Arizona. The 63rd Army Reserve Command supported missions ranging from humanitarian and civic assistance in Central and South America, interagency support for counter-drug operations and disaster relief at home, and deployed units to the Persian Gulf War before transforming into the 63rd Regional Support Command in 1995 and then the 63rd Regional Readiness Command in 2003 in support of the global war on terror. In 2008, the 63rd Regional Readiness Command provided support to the 7 states of the American Southwest before being redesignated as the 63rd Readiness Division in 2018, continuing the legacy of the original Blood and Fire Division of World War II. Standing before you are the command teams and soldiers of the 63rd Readiness Division subordinate units. From left to right are, from Mountain View, the 63rd Readiness Division Mission Command Support Group, led by Colonel Krisha Andrews and Command Sergeant Major Raul Escovel. From Halone, United States Army Garrison Fort Hunter Liggett, commanded by Colonel Jason McKenzie and Command Sergeant Major David Fimbres. From Dublin, Parks Reserve Forces Training Area, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Richard King and Command Sergeant Major Stephen Laurie. From Mountain View, the 63rd Readiness Division, Headquarters and Headquarters Detachment, led by Captain Ronald Avalos and First Sergeant Christina Rosenberg. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the invocation given by Chaplain Colonel Virginia Emery.
I invite you to pray with me. Holy God, today we will stand in witness of the change of command between Major General Tracy Smith and Major General Windsor Buzza. As General Smith transfers the mantle of authority to General Buzza, we ask you to grant him wisdom, courage, and vision to carry the legacy of our division, born in blood and fire, through the challenges and changes ahead. May General Buzza's character and guiding light mark him as a moral, ethical, and effective leader, caring for both his people and getting the mission done. I ask a special blessing on General Buzza's family and friends as he undertakes this new chapter of military service. Draw them together in joy and strength, for they too serve and sacrifice for our nation. We have gathered, as your word declares, to give honor to those whom honor is due, and we ask you would bless this ceremony and all gathered here. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Emery. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. On behalf of the soldiers and civilians of the 63rd Readiness Division, Staff Sergeant Liliana Lopez is presenting Mr. Scott Smith with a lei full of gift cards for his favorite hardware store where he can shop without any supervision or censorship. Major General Smith's family will receive leis as well. This symbolizes their dedicated service, love, and concern, not only for the soldiers and civilians of the 63rd Readiness Division, but to their families. We are forever grateful for their untiring support and service. It is also traditional for the soldiers and civilians of the 63rd Readiness Division to present the partner of the incoming commander with yellow roses, symbolizing friendship and a promise of a new beginning with the command. At this time, Staff Sergeant Christina House is presenting Dr. Rachel Schultz with yellow roses. She will also be presenting his mother, sister, aunt, and family friend with chocolates from Lula's Chocolates to welcome them to the command. In a moment, the adjutant will direct sound attention, and our ceremony will begin. The tradition of sound off dates back to the Crusades. At that time, the commander of troops for today's ceremony is Colonel Neil Tho, Chief of Staff, 63rd Readiness Division. The 63rd Readiness Division is being represented by Major Janet Mays, Adjutant, Colonel Paul Painter, G3, Colonel Russell Loftquist, G4, Colonel Jose Rivera, TBW, Colonel Brad Rhodes, G6, Colonel Sean Vieira, G8. The official party for today's ceremony is Lieutenant General Robert Harder, Commanding General, United States Army Reserve Command, Major General Tracy Smith, 24th Commanding General, 63rd Readiness Division, and Major General Shane Buzza, Incoming Commander, 63rd Readiness Division. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the rendering of honors. Uniformed personnel are reminded to remain standing and present arms for the playing of honors. Honors have been deferred to Major General Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. First Lieutenant Michael Cotto is presenting Major General Smith an artillery shell casing that is symbolic of the last salute fired in her honor as the commanding general of the 63rd Readiness Division.
Ma'am, the command is formed.
Post the colors.
Colors, stand firm. March. Ma'am, the colors are present.
Assume your post and present the command.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare for the playing of our national anthem, please stand and join us by placing your right hand over your heart. Veterans in civilian attire may render a salute. Please be seated. The change of command ceremony is a military tradition that is rich with symbolism and heritage dating back to medieval times. Soldiers often carried staffs or standards into battle that identified them as a unit. Throughout military history, unit colors have marked the position of the commander on the battlefield and served as a rallying point. While attacking or rallying on the battlefield, soldiers would follow the standard or guidons of their leader, most often found at the forward edge of battle. In more recent times, the colors represent not only the heritage and history of the unit, but also the unity and loyalty of its soldiers. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing their responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, so too are the colors. The passing of the unit colors represents the transfer of authority and responsibility for the unit from one commander to another. The Command Sergeant Major is the keeper of the colors. As the senior enlisted soldier in the unit, he is the spokesman for both the loyalty and concerns of the soldiers and the principal advisor to the commander. Command Sergeant Major Bethurum will pass the colors to the 24th Commander of the 63rd Readiness Division, Major General Smith. Major General Smith will pass the colors to Lieutenant General Harder, signifying she has relinquished her command and expressing gratitude for the opportunity to lead soldiers. That moment is symbolic of the transfer of command. Lieutenant General Harder will transfer the colors to Major General Buzza, entrusting him with the responsibility and care of the unit. Attention to orders. By the authority of Army Regulation 600-20, paragraph 2-5, the undersigned assumes command of the 63rd Readiness Division, signed, Major General Windsor S. Buzza. This time-honored process is completed when Major General Buzza returns the colors to Command Sergeant Major Bethurum, charging him with maintaining the symbol of the command. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Commanding General, United States Army Reserve Command, Lieutenant General Harder.
Man, what a great day out here. Awesome. Yeah, I'll tell you, for the formation, go ahead and go at ease for me. And for the color guard, unseat the colors. And no, go ahead and unseat the colors, and you can go ahead and set them on the ground. You can set the rifles on the ground, kind of go to modified at ease. We'll get you squared away before we kick this off. The Sergeant Major right now is going, what is happening? Hey, morning, team. It's just great to be back out here in California. And to all the folks that put this together, it's not lost on me how hard it is to make something look this professional and this easy. So thank you, Tracy, to your 63rd team, and now Shane's 63rd team for getting after this. The band is fantastic. Appreciate the band being out here. To all our community leaders, thank you for being here and supporting your Army presence here at Moffett in the mighty 63rd Readiness Division. Right, it's a big day here in Mountain View. Change of command day. Always bittersweet, right? To say farewell to one great leader, welcome another. I got to say, formation's looking great out there. Blood and fire. We support. I tell you, the 63rd has a huge mission for our United States Army Reserve and the Army, and this formation has been crushing it. To begin with, the 63rd Readiness Division covers a huge swath of territory. Support to 7 states, really the whole southwest portion of the United States of America, from California to Arkansas. Lots of travel, 730,000 square miles this Readiness Division is responsible for. Supports more than 55,000 Army Reserve soldiers, civilians, and their family members. responsible for maintaining almost 300 facilities and hundreds of thousands of vehicles and pieces of equipment. Just a huge mission. I know, I've been a Readiness Division CG. And for the last couple of years, this awesome formation has been led by one of our best, in Major General Tracy Smith. Before we talk about Tracy, which we will, and I'll be brief, but let's acknowledge her awesome family who's here with us today, and some hopefully watching online. You cannot do what we do in the United States Army Reserve today without awesome support of your family. Of course, we start with husband Scott. He's got that awesome layout with a bunch of gift cards. That is a spectacular gift. Married for 31 years, retired Army medical logistician. Tracy told me, Scott, that one of her hobbies is irritating you. She's going to have a lot more time to do that. Yeah, and she's good at it. Yeah. Scott said that, not me. So Scott, I appreciate your support over the years, support of this great leader. I know she's gonna thank you as well. You know, so Tracy originally from Guam, big family, lots of Guamanians, Chamorro warriors. All right, here with us today. So we've got brother, retired Navy Commander Tony Artero. We've got brother, retired Army Colonel Matt Artero, and his wife Susan. They came in from Northern Virginia. We got brother, retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Audie Artero, right? So we got pretty much the whole joint force represented here for Team Artero anyway. And from Guam, we've got the rest of family, friends, hopefully listening in. A special shout out to Dad, right? Retired Army Command Sergeant Major Franklin Artero. And it was funny, Tracy and I are standing over there getting ready to march out here, and the narrator, doing a great job, said, with us in spirit. I said, he's still with us physically, too. I want to make sure, right? So, retired Army Command Sergeant Major Franklin Artero, 3 tours in Vietnam, 2 Purple Hearts, and his wife Marge. So, shout out to that hero. I think Sister Liz is back there, works public health on the island. Godbrother and first cousin, retired Brigadier General Rod Leon Guerrero, former TAG of Guam. Godparents Fred in Virginia, Guerrero. I tell you, quite the crew. We've checked off every branch of the military except the United States Marine Corps, which is okay, right? Hey, it's a family business. Hey, I love the Marines. Don't get me wrong. Don't let me take that the wrong way. Family business, thanks to the Arteros, Guerreros, Smiths, and all who've supported Tracy and Scott on this journey. So back to Tracy. By the time Tracy arrived here at Moffett Field, she'd already worked a lot of hard jobs. I mean, she had to work for Louis Vuitton. And I will say this, it's awesome to see so many general officers, retired general officers, command sergeant majors, retired command sergeant majors out here supporting this awesome event. It's great to see so many old friends. But she's already previously commanded also at the 2-star level. So Tracy immediately put her leadership and problem-solving experience to work. Unit at an installation has a downed HVAC, no problem. Tracy and her team are getting it back online in 1/3 of the time it took previously. Tracy and the team driving on customer service and process improvement. Tracy is always leading from the front, driving change, piloting an IGSA, an Intergovernmental Service Agreement, first of its kind in the Army Reserve. This IGSA allowed the 63rd team to tear down the red tape, crush the bureaucracy, go straight to the contractors that actually get stuff done, and get stuff done. This is the kind of senior leadership we need. I often say if we could impose our bureaucracy on our enemies, we wouldn't have to fire another shot. We'd shut them down. But they are powering through it here in the 63rd. In addition to getting after all the missions of an RD, maintaining facilities and equipment, personnel support to thousands of soldiers, assisting with deployments, redeployments, the 63rd and Tracy Smith had to deal with the never-ending power and water challenges of Fort Hunter Liggett. Never got excited or overreacted. Just solve problems. She give me a call, boss, no water, no power, we're good, everything's on track. She spearheaded support to Mojave Falcon, our first major integrated exercise, also at Fort Hunter Liggett. Supported thousands of Army Reserve soldiers, we had National Guard out there, we had active component soldiers out there, integrated, getting more combat ready. And of course, Tracy was at the helm of the 63rd when several terrible wildfires swept through California. 3 major wildfires during her tenure. That required constant tracking from a personnel standpoint. This is a flyover I coordinated, by the way. Constant tracking, data review to check on reserve units in the AO, protecting the facilities, soldiers, and families. She worked in hand with the California National Guard. she and her team. National Guard search and rescue teams from cities and the areas. Mayors. She got our weapons out of the way of the fire, kept everybody safe, equipment out of the way. Just a tremendous job well done by the 63rd. But expect no less. So all in a day's work. Tracy's been crushing it her entire career. Rounds complete, right? You would think. No more hard Army problems to deal with. She just passed the guide on to Shane Buzza. She packs up her stuff here at Moffett, getting ready to go. Mountain View, getting ready to go back home to Florida, where she and Scott also have a house. I know ultimately they want to get back to Hawaii. I see her at the, what was it, the third MedCom, 3rd Theater Medical Command, change of command. Tracy, how's everything going? Not so good, boss. Just got a call. The truck carrying all our stuff caught on fire in Louisiana. So she had to fly down there, check on it. I think you've lost about 60%, maybe more. So I'm talking to Tracy. I'm like, that's terrible. What's going on? She goes, I'm okay. I got a uniform. I got some stuff. I'm just going to ruck up. That is the attitude of Tracy Smith. She gets a final parting love shot from the Department of War PCS system, and she just rucks on up. Mama Bear. That's what the medical community calls her. So, hey, Tracy, just awesome serving with you. On a personal note, thanks for being a great teammate and a battle buddy. We've known each other for 10, 15 years, AGR colonels together. I tell you, one thing I love about Tracy Smith, she speaks truth to power. There is zero filter, zero, which I appreciate. I remember having a conversation with you, Tracy, one time, and I made a comment about, you know, Tracy, you intimidate a lot of soldiers. You know that? And she goes, I do know that. I've been told I have more testosterone than most males. I can see that. But I tell you what, that served you well, because you've had a tremendous career. You've made a difference for the Army Reserve, the Army, and the nation. So Godspeed to you and Scott. If you end up in Hawaii, please buy a place big enough for Team Harder to visit. Now that you've got no furniture or clothes, that should be easy. There should be plenty of room. But really, Tracy, it's been an honor of my life serving with you. Thank you for the difference you made. Shout out to Tracy Smith and Scott. Great thing about our Army Reserve, right? We have lots of great talent. So it's awesome to welcome General Shane Buzza to the 63rd team. California boy. So he's coming home. Spent more than 20 years in the Army Reserve, his Army Reserve career and active duty, right? 7th. In units that fall underneath the 63rd footprint and here in California. So he knows the terrain. Shane joins us from his role as the Chief of Staff for Forces Command, the largest command in our Army, almost 750,000 soldiers. Now Shane, this is awesome. Shane is now going to have to live with all the FORSCOM policies and rules that he helped publish. The Lord works in mysterious ways, Chaplain. Shane, like Tracy, has lots of leadership and command experience. He has commanded at all levels, served in operational and training formations, and prior to his time at Forces Command, served as the wartime Chief of Staff for 8th Army in Korea. Shane also, I dare to say, is a world-class athlete, having just competed and completed in a full Ironman triathlon in France, where he was the #2 American to finish in his age group and 17th overall. Full-up Ironman. No issues with PT. Shane, that's all good, but get in the gym. Throw some iron and steel around. Of course, joining Shane today are many of his family members, both here in person and virtually. The MC here called out many of them. I don't want to miss anybody, but I'll highlight a few. So here with us today, and I just met Mom Shirley, Sister Stephanie. We got Uncle Don and Aunt Susie, Don being a former artilleryman, right? We got girlfriend Rachel. I don't know if Cousin David made it, former Army Reserve trooper. Is he here? That's awesome. And it's Jacob that's here, right? Jacob is here. Son Zach could not be here, but hopefully streaming in. And I also want to give a shout out to Beth, mom of Zach and Jacob. She's here, and I know Shane will give her a shout out. Put a whole lot of sacrifice in for a family when they raise kids together for 25 years, deployments, call-ups, all that. So, Beth, I really appreciate you being here as well. Thanks to all of you for the support of Shane over the years. Continue to support him and help him drive on what he needs to get done here in the 63rd. Shane, congratulations on taking command. My charge to you: take care of the team, drive readiness for your units and supported formations. Crush it, and I know you will. Finally, to the soldiers, civilians, and family members of the mighty 63rd, thank you for what you do. I will ask you this: do not get complacent on me either. I wish I could say things are going to get easier, but they're not. Things are going to get harder before they get easier. The 63rd and all of our readiness divisions will continue to take on bigger roles: command and control and mission command, driving change and making a difference for the Army and the nation. So keep making that difference. Our soldiers at the tip of the spear are counting on you to bring the same blood and fire mentality, the strength of your battle-tested heritage, into ensuring our warrior citizens are prepared for the fight of tomorrow. And as many of you know, our Army Reserve delivers the bulk of enabling capacity for the Army. A lot of it flows through the 63rd. And I got skin in the game, not just 170,000 soldiers and the many more civilians that serve in our formation, but my own flesh and blood. I got a son in the 11th Airborne Division in Alaska. My days of kicking in doors are long gone. Probably many in this formation, long gone. His days are just starting. And on America's worst day, he's going to be called, and he's probably going to get support coming from this formation that will flow. So don't let me down, and I know that you won't. Take this seriously. We are in a serious business. Hey, thanks to all in attendance here. I appreciate you being here, and I'm proud to be part of this team. 63rd, you look fantastic, so keep it up. May God continue to bless our Army and our great nation. Twice the citizen, combat ready. This will defend.
Thank you, Lieutenant General Harder. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 24th Commanding General of the 63rd Readiness Division, Major General Smith.
Hey, in addition to what the boss just said to everyone, please, he gave you at ease, but please just shake your knees, wiggle your toes, please shake your arms. The boss, as we were standing out there, he said, hey, with your formation, if you see one drop, you're really going to see it. So please, let's hope we don't, okay? So please, just wiggle your toes. I will not hear the end of it from the boss. So welcome, everyone. Good morning. What a fantastic day to be here on this historic field. General Harder, thank you for presiding today, for setting the tone, and for your thoughtful words. To our Gold Star Fletcher family, for those of you who don't know, they're our Gold Star family whose son paid the ultimate sacrifice. To our distinguished congressional representatives, mayors, council members, general officers, CSMs, ARAs, community leaders and partners, friends and family, thank you for joining us. A special welcome to Major General Shane Buzza and his family. Welcome back, my friend. Welcome back to California, and welcome to our region. Today's ceremony would not be possible without the support of many. The 191 Band, you looked fantastic out there. I'm so proud to have commanded. The 182 Artillery Battery from Fort Hood and the 91st Training Command for lending us your guns. To Dr. Tu, the NASA Director, and respective NASA offices who are also here today, partnering with us to use this historic field and to support us. Our Color Guard, the U.S. Army Garrison Fort Hunter Liggett, the Parks Reserve Forces Training Area, USARC Protocol, CSM Bethurum and Sergeant Major Balaskow for leading and orchestrating today's events, and many more who helped for today's ceremony. So this is a change of command, but it is also a retirement for me, and at a time in my career, a time for reflection and gratitude. While today is a celebration, I would, however, like to pause to honor two of the 63rd who we lost this past year. Mr. Chip Pilialoha from our Department of Public Works and Master Sergeant Joshua Trochet from our JAG office. They are greatly missed, and our continued thoughts are with their families. I would like to first recognize my family. My heartfelt thanks to them for their love, support, and understanding and sacrifices. The boss already talked about my three brothers. You were here when I assumed command. Thank you, and so was Liz at the time. You all have your own outstanding careers, of yourselves and your spouses. I'm very proud to be your sibling. And then to Dad, of course, as the boss had talked about, CSM retired, 82nd, 101st, almost his whole career, 2 Purple Hearts, and his wife Margie. They couldn't be here today, and I won't say, sir, that they are here in spirit. I do want to mention my mom, Eleanor, who has passed, and also to my late grandparents of Joaquin and Elizabeth Lujan, most of whom their legacy and their guidance is what shapes me today. To my godparents of Wilfred and Virginia Leon Guerrero and their son, godbrother, General retired Rod Leon Guerrero, and most of all, to my husband, Scott, and the kids, Shannon, Joey, Callie, and goddaughter Leah, and their families for their support. Scott, thank you for 31 years of sacrifice, patience, and most of all, tolerance. For your unwavering support, and hopefully in a week, I won't be as stressed and you won't be as pissed off at me. I am very grateful to Lieutenant General Daniels, who in 2023, she called me and said I had a new opportunity, and that was to command the 63rd RD, a position for which I did not apply for or even think that a Medical Service Corps officer could even command. Thanks to her and her trust in me for these new challenges, and to Lieutenant General Harder for allowing me to continue to serve and support your vision, transforming our Army Reserve. Thank you, sir. Again, there are some reflections on command over time. To my mentors, peers, teammates, and for those for whom I have mentored across my career, thank you for your guidance and mentorship. And I learned from each and every one of you to include the mentees. Too many of you to mention by name, but I will recognize a few, and I do apologize if I don't mention you. But having commanded 3 times as a general officer, to include serving as the Deputy Surgeon General, has been an absolute privilege and honor beyond what I ever imagined. I am grateful to the leaders who got me here, sir, and such as Major General Vassat. For those of you who think I mentor hard, try being General Vassat's mentee. I had a lot of personal courage when I had to call him when I screwed up. So I give myself credit for having that personal courage. To Major Generals Kelly, O'Gwin, Link, Waitman, Lieutenant Generals Dingle, West, Crosland, Daniels, Harder, Pyatt, and Generals Brown and LaCamera, who had faith in me when I had my own self-doubt, but who challenged and entrusted me with these responsibilities. And to the CCWOs of Wilkerson, Brenner, Brassfield, and especially to the CSMs of Doherty, Gintz, Schultz, Herringer, Estabrooks, Cross, Bram, Williams, Reyes, and Bethurum. Soldiers and civilians who made success possible. Some of you who are here today, to all the SGSs, that's the secretaries, the general staff, our executive assistants, knowledge managers, deputy commanding generals, command chief warrant officers, chiefs of staff, and command sergeants majors, the many command group teams of the 18th MedCom, the Office of Surgeon General Reserve Affairs, 807th MedCom, and the 63rd, and especially to the aides of Smith, Thompson, McDonald, Bullaong, Braley, and Carlson. First of all, I apologize. And I thank you for putting up with my unique personality. I cannot thank you for all you have done. You do more than anyone will ever see, and your work has not gone unnoticed nor underappreciated. Thank you. For the 63rd, Ms. Darcy Taylor, our command group team, Major Queen, Colonel Heath, Colonel Hayes, Miss Hunko, Sergeant Brown, Captain Carlson, Lieutenant Skinner, Miss Collins, Colonel Tho, Chief Brassfield, BG Fisher, BG Cook, BG Gebhard. You made my life easier, but more so, you helped improve the readiness of the command, whether they knew it or not. To the other 3 RD commanders, the Readiness Division commanders, we've had a change over time, but then it was Major General Baker, Major General Harder then, Major General Bellinger, and now Major General Wallace, Major General Ricciardi, and Linton. Our weekly or more communications and how you all lead set the example for me and the 63rd Readiness Division and inspired us to do better, to be better. To my Army Medical Department brethren, active, guard, and reserve, all compos, we are all a very close group. and with Lieutenant General Izagiri at the helm, will continue to foster that teamwork. To my sister commanders of Papa Bear, Major General Marsiglia, brother, we only have 3 days in a wake-up before we are officially retired, so I'm with you there. To General Salisbury, General Lynn, and General Yost, this is a group for which I could call upon at any time. To vent, moan, or problem solve, I thank you for your candor, transparency, teamwork, professionalism, and friendship. To the AMED 1 stars and colonels and all of our soldiers have been a big part of my career, and I wouldn't be here if it were not for them and all they have done as subordinate commanders and staffs, and I couldn't be more proud of their ability to take care of America's sons and daughters when they need you the most at the most critical times. Thank you for all your support. To CSM Bethurum, the best darn CSM a commander could ever hope for. You made me smarter. You challenged me in many ways, and I could not have commanded the 63rd without you, especially in understanding the complexities of maintenance, starting at the tactical level, the DS, GS, and higher levels. Meanwhile, helping me understand Meltec reform and tackling problems and taking care of soldiers. We were a true command team. Thank you, CSM. To the soldiers and civilians of the 63rd, the staff, our Mission Command Support Group, Fort Hunter Liggett Garrison, the Parks Reserve Forces Training Area in Garrison, and in a few days will include the 75th Innovation Command and the Army Reserve Support Command. You are what make our operational units able to shine, deploy, and do their missions downrange. You are the reason this organization is able to support 50,000 soldiers, over 130 micro installations, over 1,800 individual UICs, over 130 facilities, 2 Army garrisons over a 7-state region. You are the reason we are able to support and build readiness to the units, soldiers in our region to be able to deploy, mobilize, and be combat ready when the nation calls. To our civilians and soldiers on the field for this command, keep pushing forward to continue to be the best and to be the most lethal fighting force in the world. And in my closing reflections, sir, the 63rd motto is blood and fire is more than words. It symbolizes the resilience through challenging times, whether in World War II or today. I was reminded of how the team, the blood and fire team, responded to the fires in SoCal this year, and then also I was reminded of it, how they did so a couple of years ago. And then keeping on with the theme of fire, after my household goods got caught on fire, as General Harder said, I told him that all I had was the uniform on my back that I was wearing. And what he said is, Smith, that's all you need. You don't need anything else. And he was right, actually. I thought about it. I have had an Army ID card since the day I was born and will have one until the day I die. The Army was never really in my plan. I joined a basic training, physical education for a college PE credit, sponsored by the ROTC program. That's how it started. But I stayed for the team. After 37 years, I can say the Army mission is the body of work. But the service, soldiers, leaders, civilians I stood beside and for whom I served are its soul. I am honored to have served the mighty 63rd Blood and Fire Division soldiers and civilians. Shane, the 63rd is extremely fortunate to have you. You will strengthen what we have improved upon. You will fix what I couldn't or didn't. And you will carry this command forward during this time of transition. To the soldiers, I salute you, Blood and Fire 6 out. Cool.
Thank you, Major General Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 25th Commanding General of the 63rd Readiness Division, Major General Buzza.
Thank you. Hey, good morning, elected officials, fellow general officers, command sergeants major, soldiers, families, and friends of the 63rd Readiness Division, and the Gold Star family Fletcher. And greetings to those following along online. After 5 years away, I must say, it is fantastic to be back in sunny California. My remarks today will be brief, and I'd like to start by saying thank you, Lieutenant General Harder, for presiding over today's ceremony and for the trust and confidence placed in me to assume this command. I'm deeply honored by the opportunity. To Major General Smith, Tracy, thank you for your outstanding leadership. The 63rd is stronger because of your vision, your care for soldiers and families, and your unwavering commitment to excellence. On behalf of us all, I wish you and Scott the very best as you move forward. To my family, I owe you more than words can capture. Thank you for your sacrifices, your support, and your resilience. I would not be standing here today without you, and I share this moment with you. To the soldiers and civilians of the 63rd, it is truly the honor of a lifetime to join your ranks. The heart of this division lies not in its lineage or its colors, but in its people. The soldiers who stand ready, the families who sacrifice quietly, and the civilians who sustain the mission day after day. I also want to recognize those I've served with throughout my career. Several of you are physically present here today, and countless more are viewing online. It's teammates, mentors, peers, and subordinates alike. Each of you shaped me into the leader I am today. The Army is not a solo endeavor, it's a team effort. And I am grateful for the many hands that have lifted me along the way. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge a certain cast of characters, a raucous group that shaped me early as a leader, the West Point class of 1988. Now, I won't elaborate on all the details of the events here, but due to some pre-graduation shenanigans, the Commandant of Cadets called us all into Ike Hall graduation week and told us we were about to be the worst class ever to graduate from West Point. And yet, history has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? From that so-called class, worst class ever, 29 went on to become general officers, commanded 9 of the Army's 11 active duty divisions, and 7 reached 3 or 4-star rank. And that's quite remarkable for one class. And it's a reminder that labels don't define us, our actions do. I draw inspiration from my classmates every day, and I hope our story inspires others to believe that applying yourself consistently in the right endeavors can lead to wild success. And I carry that lesson with me into this command. Now, I know challenges will come, but I also know this: there is nothing this team cannot accomplish when we stand together with purpose and resolve. The 63rd has a proud history, and I believe its best chapters are still ahead as we march forward with continuous transformation. Thank you for welcoming me into this extraordinary formation. I am humbled to serve alongside you, and I look forward to what we will accomplish together. This will defend twice the citizen, blood and fire.
Thank you, Major General Buzza. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the retiring of the colors, the benediction, and remain standing for the playing of the Army song and the departure of the official party.
Sir, permission to retire the colors.
Retire the colors.
Retire the colors. Colors reverse. March.
now receive this blessing. General Smith, go in peace, knowing the oath you have taken has been well and faithfully executed. May the Lord grant you and Scott warm memories of your military journey while giving you both new adventures and new dreams to call your very own. May the faithful support and service of the Smith and Artero families be richly rewarded by the Most High. And finally, for all gathered here, may General Smith's legacy of service and engaged leadership that supported thousands of soldiers and accomplished untold number of missions inspire us all as we continue in our lives of service. And now go in peace to serve one another, our Army, and our nation. Amen.
March along, sing our song. We're the army of the free. Count the brave.
Sir, the ceremony is complete.
Dismiss the command.
Commander, take charge of your command.
The men and women of the 63rd Readiness Division are proud to have served with Major General Smith and wish her and her family every success in their future endeavors. We also congratulate Major General Buzza as he assumes his duties as Commanding General of the 63rd Readiness Division. Major General Buzza invites you to join him for refreshments at the 63rd Readiness Division Battle Assembly Hall at 11:30. In 3 minutes, Command Sergeant Major Bethurum will conduct the Old Glory flag folding ceremony and present the flag to Major General Smith in honor of her retirement and service. You are highly encouraged to remain for this ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the change of command ceremony. On behalf of the 63rd Readiness Division, we thank you for attending. Blood and fire. The colors of the flag were deliberately chosen to reflect the beliefs and values that our founding fathers felt were important to building our nation. Red stands for courage, hardness, and bloodshed. Courage because our country is based on the courage of separating from what we once knew. Courage of starting over. Courage of fighting for our freedom. Hardness because our founding fathers believed that our country would outlast the land that we came from. And finally, bloodshed, to honor all those that lost their life for the freedom of our country. White stands for purity and vigilance. Purity because our country is independent and is not corrupted by any other country. Vigilance because our country needs to be alert and careful in the choices we make. Blue stands for justice and perseverance. Justice because it is the basis for our country. Perseverance because although our nation is young, we will stand strong against all opposition. The poem, My Name is Old Glory, was written by Howard Schnauber, a United States Marine who served in World War II in Korea and loved to educate children in respect for the American flag. The poem is full of words and images that reflect the American spirit, military history, and reverence for the flag. The recitation of the poem has become a tradition of military ceremonies and retirements. Following Old Glory, Major General Smith will be presented the flag and her retirement certificate, and Mr. Smith will also be presented the spouse's certificate. Please welcome Lieutenant Commander, U.S. Navy retired, Van Morris, as he shares an amazing tribute to our American flag, Old Glory.
Major General Smith, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to play a small role on this great day. It's an honor to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further delay, let us begin. The Old Glory presentation that you're about to witness is a time-honored tradition that symbolizes our service members, our veterans, and first responders rise through the ranks. But most importantly, it represents their love for a nation that they so proudly served. Now, if I could get all of you to use your imagination just for one moment, imagine our flag having a personality. What type of attitude and swagger do you think it would have? Now, imagine the flag having a voice. What exactly would it say to its outstanding service members, to its veterans, to its first responders? What would it say to you? Well, I would like to draw your attention to just one fact. The fact of the matter is, the United States flag is the most recognized symbol in the world for peace and freedom. And my friends, when it comes to freedom, well, freedom is not free. It comes with a price. Paid for by our prisoners of war, our missing in action. We have over 80,000 missing in action personnel right now, today, by our veterans who have accumulated countless injuries and disabilities, and our outstanding service members who are serving around the globe in defense of our great nation. So let there be no doubt that I believe that if this flag could speak, it would say, I am the flag of the United States of America, but my name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings, and I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically across the great institutions of learning, and I stand guard with the greatest military power in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace and truth, honor and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident, I am brave, I am proud, and I am ready. When I'm flown with my fellow banners, my head is held a little higher, and my colors are a little truer. Except for my God, I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am sovereign. I am saluted. I am respected. I am honored. I am loved. And yet I am feared. I have fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. Some of these battles include Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox, San Juan Hill, the trenches of France, the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, the beaches of Normandy, Guam, Okinawa, Korea, Khe Sanh, Saigon, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, and Syria, and scores of other places. Long forgotten by all. Except those that were there with me, I know because I was there. I led my special operations forces in the quiet of the night, and at the tip of a spear, I saw them fight fearlessly around the globe every day of the year. I watched over them, even during the casualties of Desert One, and they still loved me. Now they're the fighting forces you cannot see. I was on a small hill called Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-worn, and tired. But my soldiers, sailors, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, my Marines, they all cheered me, and I was so very proud. I was at Ground Zero in New York City on September the 11th as cowardly fanatics attacked America. I was raised from the ashes of once proud buildings by brave firefighters and police. These were heroes who risked their lives to save others, showing all that America, although bloody, will never be beaten, because those who would destroy me cannot win. For I am the symbol of freedom, of one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on in the streets of my own country. And when it is done by those whom I have served with in battle, it hurts. But hear me today when I say, I will overcome because I am strong. I have slipped the surely bounds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over the uncharted new frontiers of space. And I have been that silent witness to all of America's finest hours. But my finest hour comes when these stripes are torn into strips to be used as bandages to cover the wounds of my fellow comrades on the field of battle. And also, when I fly at half-staff to honor my soldiers, sailors, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, Marines, and Space Force Guardians. But most importantly, when I am placed into the trembling arms of the grieving mother at the gravesite of her fallen son or daughter, I am so very proud. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wave, dear God. Long may I wave.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Major General Smith will remain on the field if you would like to wish her farewell. Thank you for attending. Please travel safe.